Ah, What, Kachi? How are you?
I'm very fine, mommy. Hello, mommy.
So, both of us are online today.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm alright. I'm good. It's nice being here with you. Thank you so much, mommy, for the access.
Sorry that we had to barge onto you.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
And when we're preparing for this broadcast, you said something that caught my attention.
Okay.
And I don't think that that thing you said should just die at the studio. So we welcome everybody who is here with us today. Just so good to connect with you. Okay, um, so that we don't have a refab when we need to mute. Can you throw the greeting for me?
Yeah, I'm doing that already now. Okay, done that already. You can just be talking. Saying hi to everyone.
Okachi, how are you?
I'm alright. I'm good.
Okay. So we welcome everyone. So maybe you can mute. We welcome everyone that has joined us or will join us later. So good to be with you today. We took up this topic considering the things that are going on around us. And when you look around the world today, or even your immediate environment, one question keeps bouncing around my heart. Is life difficult or easy? Going from kindergarten to primary school, nursery school, university, college, get a job. Is life easy? Or do you think that life is difficult? Kachi, you were saying something before we came. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Is life easy or life difficult? I want you to share freely.
Okay. Thank you so much, mommy. Shalom, everyone. Okay. When we're in the studio, I think I mentioned something also dropped earlier today when I commented on the advert for this broadcast. If you want to talk about life being easy or difficult here on earth, I think we should take it from the saying that we have on the streets. They say this life no balance. I mean, there's this life no balance, and a couple of times you cannot equally put a measure to it on whether or not the life is balanced, that the life is easy, or the life is difficult, because over and over again you find yourself in events that make you think otherwise. One time you feel, oh, you have it all figured out, and the other time maybe you think something like, God, what am I doing? I thought I had all of this covered up. There's always that roller coaster of up and downs. But personally, I think I have come to realize that these events are actually the makeups we have to actually say, okay, this is what life entails. We cannot always have it go as planned, and we cannot always have it go as we think. So this event of good and bad, of success and failures is the right word. Success and failures are the things that actually make life interesting one way or the other. Where I personally feel we miss it a lot of times is we not have the tools necessary to rightly navigate through success or through failure. For example, I would see I could see life or failure as a barrier from preventing me from progressing. You know me because of your wild knowledge and because you are a voracious thinker, because you study a lot, you must have studied that failure is another way to navigate success. So while I am busy seeing failure as a barrier preventing me from going to the next level, you are seeing failure as an opportunity to try, to become better, as an opportunity to do better than you did yesterday. So we both have two different perspectives viewing life from right now. Yeah, so that's how I interpret success and failure, or life being easy or difficult many times. And let me quote Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe would say,
Kachi,
if you
they
are
say
going
your
through,
audio is not clear.
oh wow, okay, let me try and fix that. Just give me a minute.
If you're just joining us, we're throwing up a conversation on life. Kachi, are you ready?
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah.
Is it better now? Okay, yes, I'd like to know in the comment section if it is better now. So I was saying that majorly, I think we view life from two different perspectives, and that is how we judge whether or not life is easy or difficult, or life is treating whether or not life is balanced. There are times where I would have agreed that yes, life is balanced. God did exactly well in creating this world. There are all times where I find myself in situations like, this life not really balanced too, and all that you get. And I was saying that sometimes we measure these things because of certain events that happen to us, right? And also we measure it by certain standards that society has set, or maybe our family line has set, when it comes to success and when it comes to failure. So I may see failure now as an inability for me to progress or to move to the next level. Meanwhile, money may see failure as an opportunity to redo the action that has been done, doing it better and achieving a different result. You see two different methods now. So from my own end, I agree to say life not really balanced. Why? Because there are always events, there is always maybe one failure or the other that prevents me from moving on. But for her, she sees failure as another way to find better success. But like scripture says, good success. You understand? So there is always that innuendo of what life presents and how we tackle it, how we respond to life for me is how we determine whether life is easy or life is difficult. It is a response basically that actually determines whether life is easy or life is difficult. Let me quote Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe would say, if you are going through a problem now, you are going through that problem basically because of ignorance. It is most likely there's a book in your shelf that you've not read. So possibly there is a solution hidden in one thing. So for some of us, I realize personally that for some of us, some of the situations that we happen to us, the things that we go through in life, one way or the other, there is the solution to that problem around us that we've not been able to rightfully employ to tackle that situation. Sometimes that message has been preached to you in church. Other times you had that book somewhere in your shelf or maybe on your iPad or your phone that you've not read. Other times you've had maybe a one-on-one session with maybe your mentor or people who you look up to. Other times you've seen movies that actually should have taught you a lesson, but you kept the lesson somewhere and focused on the entertainment part. So I see life like that. I don't see life as events happen, or sometimes you even know what to do, but the discipline to employ the right action now may look like, oh, this thing just took me on a way, but it's not really like that. A couple of times, not always like that all the time. So that's how I see life. I see life as a series of events that most times, because we do not rightfully employ the necessary resources or tools, then we categorize life as difficult. But still, this life don't really balance me.
Thank you so much, Kachi. I love the way you were talking about creating different scenarios for life. And for everyone who is here with us, you heard what he said. What you see is what you interpret. But I like to go to, in addition to what you said, I like to go to the basic foundation of life. The basic foundation of life is we need to understand. Um, let me start it this way. Let me start it this way. There are many of us who have not found rest. I'm not talking about whether you slept in a five-star hotel or you slept in an island surrounded with, I'm not talking about whether you slept on you're on a vacation, um, you're going on a vacation, you're on a yacht. I'm not talking about that. There are many people who are listening to me today, who may even listen to me after this time out, that have never, I'm serious, they have never rested. There are many people who have walked into a situation that left them shocked, left a shocking feeling all over them. There are people, nothing, no situation has shocked you. But I've came to this realization that many of us are not really at rest. And the reason I came to that situation is what I want to explain to you as long as you can listen to me now. Many of us shout, God, 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 and we try to work for God. That's the first reason why we don't have rest. If anywhere you go, whether people go to church or people don't go to church, there's a concept of a deity, of an invisible thing somewhere. Even if you're not worshiping God like I am worshiping, or you're worshiping anything, many people try to work for this, their deity, try to work for God. For me, you don't work for God. As stupid as it may sound, God actually works for you. Because I looked at the creation of the universe and I arrived at this answer that the entire process to create the universe, God didn't need your intelligence, He didn't need your social skill, He didn't need your emotional intelligence, He needed nothing from you. He completely finished the work and then He started resting. The very first day man started his work from the position of rest. So, Kachi, let's take this and put it at the back of your chest. Have you been trying to work for God? Or have you allowed God to work for you? You know, when you talk like this, people think that you're lazy. Life does not begin from how much work you put on. I'm talking about the first position. The first position begins with a discovery of what has been done for you. If you have a car, or you have a house, your children enter that house because of the relationship they have with you. The relationship gives them the access to the house. Your child does not go around trying to build his own house. He first of all sits in the one you have created. I was in a mentorship program. I have these people I mentor, cohort 3 of that. I asked them, if you come into my office and I tell you, sit down, what will you do? As simple as that answer is, majority of them couldn't answer it. If you come into my office and I say, Kachi, sit down, what will you do? It took us almost 45 minutes to arrive at an answer. And I created a scenario for them. And I asked them a question. Just imagine you come into my office and I say, Kachi, sit down. The moment you hear sit down, you take off. You will run to one evil forest somewhere. You're going to look for how to cut the chairs to sit down. You realize that you don't have the skills to cut chairs. You run back to town. You go look for people who have skills in cutting trees. So all of you run back to the evil forest. When all of you arrive at the forest, the wood has been cut, and then you go back again and realize, oh, you don't have the lorry that will carry the chair. You run back again to town to go and find the lorry that will carry the chair. You come back, all of you move the wood to town. Remember, the instruction is sit down. You move the wood to town. You run up and down, run up and down, run up and down. You are sweating on getting tired. You realize that you don't even have the skill to to convert the wood into a chair. Then you run up and down again and go and look for Anguli, look for Tony, look for Uche, look for God. Oh, please come and help me to create chair. The instruction is sit down. By the time you manage to create the chair, you have sat down, but the process through which you have sat down is wrong. So, what makes life difficult on earth, number one, is a lack of understanding of the instruction that life entails. That's the very first thing. I'm using this phone. There's an instruction for this phone. If you do not understand that very first instruction, you can use this phone for anything. So for us, if you're going to make this life easier, it begins with the discovery of what has been done for you. And in the context, I'm a Christian, what has been done for you by Jesus, that discovery is the first step to life being easy. Unfortunately, all your life, you have been made to earn everything. So when you have now been taught that the first step to life being balanced is a discovery of what has been done for you, is going to take you a lot. In fact, you will even be more stressed to discover. You first of all won't agree that the first thing that makes life easy is a discovery of what has been done for you, because your brain pathway does not align in this manner. Your brain pathway does not see life in this way. So when someone says it begins with a discovery, then you have another problem altogether. So from here, everything you do with God is a series, successive series of discovery of this, discovery of that, discovery of that. If you don't understand this very one, you will never come to rest. So, friends, and those who are listening to me today, do you think you are really resting? Do you think you have found rest? If you haven't found rest, you can't give any other person rest. I remember the prodigal son. Even though the brother was at home with the father, he still did not find rest. In theory, he was at rest, but practically, he was not at rest. Friends, are you resting? Have you found rest? That you're not married, how much tension has that created inside you? Forgetting that you're not the one that is going to give yourself a life partner. That you don't have children yet, how much rest has that given you? That you have election, you are part of a political party, and all of you are going to try to win an election. How much tension has that put on you? There are many of us who are so tensed that they don't even know they are tense. That's the worst problem. To have a problem and don't know that you have a problem is the biggest problem. So the first way to discover how easy life can be is simple. What has been done for me? That search, that research, that learning, that unlearning is the first one. The second one, and the final one for today, is what I have called how man tries to resolve issues that happen around him. Kachi has left me here. How man tries to resolve issues that happen around him. Let me explain how that works for you. For those of us, this thing I'm saying sounds very easy, but it is not as easy as we look at. Kachi, what happened? Where did you run to?
I was here, I was in the background. I just
Because I
needed
want to
you.
ask you a question. I want to ask you a
Totally.
question.
I'm in the studio.
How did Adam and Eve come out of rest. The guy has run away. Okay. Adam and Eve, what broke their rest?
Okay. Basically, sin entered. Sin entered one, but it was a thing of the mind, not because of the action.
Okay,
It was a
have you
thing
ever
of the
tried to
mind.
look at it like this? Mute your phone. Have you ever tried to look at it like this? The compass to navigate themselves inside the garden is inside them. The compass to navigate between right and wrong, evil and good, is already inside them. But something came from the outside and convinced them that that thing was not inside them. So you find out that the second thing that makes life difficult is where we're going to. The natural man always tries to walk his own standard of this is good, this is evil, this is justice, this is injustice. So there is a striving that comes from that. Meanwhile, for those of us who are believers, a new sense of righteousness has developed inside you. So for Adam and Eve, they began their life from trying to navigate with their mind, with their efforts. This is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. And that put them under pressure. That's where pressure came from. But for those of us who are in Jesus, we don't start with the knowledge of good and evil. We start with the tree of life, which is Jesus. So the compass, the manufacturing equipment to navigate yourself between who should I marry, who should I not marry, which step should I take, which step should I not take, is inside you. The moment you leave that navigation that starts inside you and try to solve this problem from the outside, you will the kind of in fact, the person that the worst cause, the person that is under the worst cause, the kind of stress the person had never seen in life. I don't want to say you. Let me put that again. I want to marry. Who should I marry? I have 3 businesses in front of me. Which of these business should I be a part of? I'm trying to be part of this network. I'm trying to relocate or stay to make this decision, starting from navigating between the tree of evil and good. The stress that comes with it, you can't imagine it. So, what is it that gives you easy access through life? It is called the power that works within. The power that works within delivers answers at every level, whether at the business level, at the relationship level, even as a nation. Look at the kind of problems we're going through as a nation. You know, sometimes when you look at what is going around in our nation, it brings tears to the eyes, and you're asking yourself, is it that we can't stand up and make good decisions concerning our mineral resources, concerning how to choose great leaders, concerning how to create processes, systems, and structures in our land, not just in our land, but across the nations of the world? And that is because what you're supposed to navigate from within, you are navigating from outside. We're almost out of time. Kachi, let me
Okay,
hear.
mommy, I have a question. I have a
Go
question for
ahead.
you, ma.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, but we are trying to establish a balance between
Yes.
life being easy or difficult, and from the angle you said, very wonderful and amazing, so much truth out of it. You know, responding from inside, just like you use the Adam and Eve and Sarah, they had inside, but because of an external factor, they did not realize that they already had the ability to discern good and evil. They didn't realize that. Now, my question is bringing it down to inputs reality to our everyday life. You know, there are persons who, let me bring it down to church. There are persons who they claim to have been in church for a long time. They claim to have served God. They claim to have served God, you know, they sown seeds and done all those things. They probably studied the Bible, they prayed, filled with the Spirit, but for one reason or the other, they are unable to recognize the effect or the benefit of being a child of God. And somehow, when you hear them speak, they always have series of bad events or negative circumstances always talk about, and they label life as being difficult, and sometimes or most times they actually tend to label God as being unfair. What do you say about such realities?
Kachi, what I want to say, you might not like it. But if you want me to say it, I'll say it. What I want
Please
to
go
say
ahead, go
now,
ahead, go
you won't
ahead.
like it. Kachi, that you wore Arsenal jersey, does that make you an Arsenal player?
Not at all, far from it.
I'm telling you, there are many people who show up in a place where they call the name of God. They show up. Some of them can even hold microphone and do all kinds of things. Oh boy. It is just a social gathering. Let me try and be more polite. You saw your parents going somewhere every Sunday. And men, we are creatures of habit. We are creatures of habit. That is what has happened every Sunday. So you're just repeating a creed that you saw someone do. Many of us are not Christians. I'm serious. Many people are not Christians. That's number one. That's the first error. The second error is that many of us have come into church, but our worldview did not change. We have made a confession, we are born again. However, it will shock you that our thinking patterns, our perspectives when it has to do with life, there is no, not, there's not be any iota of change. And even when from the inside they have a knowledge, say, this way you're going is not good, they will dominate that voice. So don't tell me about people who are going to church. Tell me about people who have allowed the concepts, the Christian concepts, to come into their comfort zone and restructure it. Then I can listen to you. But there is a third set who are on a journey and they recognize they are on a journey. And when they blow it at any point in time, you hear them coming back to say, really, really feel sorry that what they have done is not good. There are some people who do not recognize at all that anything happened. So it's a shame, but it's the truth. If you have another question, ask me.
No, no, no. I think you've answered the other question I was going to ask, and I completely agree. Completely agree. It's not really about church or being in a social gathering. No, it's about allowing the contents of that place to get into you. I get it. I get it.
Now, someone asked a question here, Kachi. He said, prioritizing my values and beliefs are basically what gives me unrest. How do I navigate this aspect of life? Matthew Nathaniel, this is so wonderful. I love the way you put, I love this question. I love this question. What gives me unrest is my values and beliefs. Let me put it in 3 sentences. What gives you unrest? How do you navigate this aspect? 1, if you discover that your father left $1 billion in your account, you discover, I haven't seen it, you just discovered. In fact, you saw evidences that it is true, and you refuse to accept it as true. Not only will you have unrest, what is going on in Kenya will be going on inside you. Of course, because you dress well, maybe enter a fine car, or maybe trek, look so fine. Nobody will know that you're in an unrest situation. That's number one. The moment you refuse to accept what is already true, you come into unrest. The second one is this: the moment you refuse to take the second step, which now means that all the resources you need to recreate a new life is resident inside you, and start allowing that resources to pull, to tug on it, to tug on that. Maybe next week I will show you how to do that. I will show you how to tug on that resources. Like someone who says, I have resentment against someone, and you're trying to use all your power to stop the resentment. Before everybody, you will look nice, you will look good, but inside you, there is war. What is going on in Ukraine will be small compared to what is going on inside you. It is to partner with the invisible power that is on your inside that creates the needed rest on the outside. The third point is to come to a place where you hold that ground as truth. So you don't take a step without finding rest. You find rest. You agree with the rest. It brings you to the second position. The second position now means, now that I have this power inside me, I want to do something. I need to rely on that power to take the right step. Next week, I'll tell you the third one. Okay? Okay. Kachi, if
Amazing.
there's no other question, I want to say this to my audience before we close. I want you to hear me clearly. 2 weeks ago, God asked me a question. He said, Katarina, 3 times. He said, are you at rest? I said, yes, I'm at rest. Nothing is disturbing me. There's nothing disturbing me. He asked me that question 3 times. He said, I'm not asking whether you are sleeping. I'm not asking whether there is money in your pocket. I'm asking you, is your heart and mind at a place of rest? You're not troubled by people's opinion. You don't have uncertainty about the future. And I said, is there any way someone can be alive and not have uncertainty about the future? He said, then you have not found rest. And I went on a journey. Next week, we're going to go deeper to talk about, are you at rest? So the question I want to ask you as we close this broadcast, everyone that joined me today, do you think you are really at rest? Do you think that you have found inner rest? That place where you don't have uncertainty about the future. That place where you're sure that God will come true. Thank you for being a part of our broadcast today. See you again next week. And from all of us here, is always shalom. Thank you.